Let's speak about that analysis label up at the top left of the chart. Why is it important? Why do you need it? What is the information that is presenting to you? The label tells you what the state of your analysis is. And so as you can see at the moment, it tells us that the analysis was updated, and then it gives us a range of cycles that are included in that analysis, from the shortest cycle, which at the moment is 21.7 minutes, all the way up to the longer cycle, 17.9 years. It tells us at what time the analysis was updated. In this case, it was at 13:12. And that time is, of course, the time of your MetaTrader server. And so it's the same time as your data, obviously, which might be different from your system time, from the time that your computer is in. Now, sometimes you'll see that label will tell you analysis unchanged. That means that at the last analysis refresh, no changes were made. And that label will also present you with other information. For instance, it will tell you when the peak analysis has been refreshed for a particular cycle, or when the trough analysis has been refreshed. It gives you that detail so that you can keep an eye on what is happening with the analysis, because the analysis itself is fairly static on your chart, and sometimes you might look at the analysis and you might ask yourself, has that analysis really been refreshed recently? Is it a current up-to-date analysis? And so it is very useful to be able to refer to that label to make sure that everything is happening as it should. Now in the square brackets at the end of the label, you will see a time duration. At the moment, that is 0.46 seconds. That tells you how long the analysis takes. The reason that the label presents this information is because the analysis process is not a simple, straightforward mathematical process like most of your MetaTrader 4 indicators, where a mathematical calculation is updated every bar or perhaps every tick. A Hurst cycles analysis is a matter of pattern recognition. It's a fairly complex process, and no two situations are ever the same. Sometimes an analysis can be fairly hard to resolve. If you are a Hurst cycles analyst, you will know there are times where the puzzle that is an analysis can be quite complicated to resolve, and so sometimes that analysis time will creep up a little bit. And so that duration is presented there so that you have an understanding of how complex the analysis is. If that time gets over 1 second, perhaps then you know that the analysis is slightly complex. There are some issues that it's trying to resolve. Most of the time, of course, that time will be well below 1 second. It usually averages at about 1/3 of a second to 1/2 of a second, as it is at the moment. You already know that the analysis label changes color as the analysis gets slightly older. Eventually it will turn red, and then an updated analysis is performed. Now, if you are not interested in having that label on your chart, then you can very simply change the inputs in your Hurst cycles indicator and choose to not show that label.